It was pertinent to note that Finnair CEO Topi Manner also accompanied the foreign minister. Do you think something concrete has been achieved, or like are we going to see some kind of air travel in the post-COVID arena soon?
Oh yes, we are very optimistic. Finnair has been flying here quite long time already, daily flights, and now of course to Seoul. And now of course the flights have been a little bit restricted, but during this visit we could agree upon, with the gracious gesture from the Korean hosts, more flights even now during this time when travel is still somewhat restricted. More flights from Finland to Korea, and the sugar in all this is that Finnair, our national airline, will be the first airline offering direct flight from Europe to Busan. I personally love Seoul, but I have to say Busan is also something remarkable.
Why did Finnair choose Busan for the destination route?
The first time when I went to Busan, and I had not been there before, I sent a message to a friend and I said, this city is Dubai plus plus plus. I guess that tells you quite a lot. Busan is dynamic. It's the world leader in many ways. The investments that are going on there, for the 10 years to come, you will have a new Busan again. But what you have achieved there now already, driving across the bridges there, you think you are in a future city. So there are so many reasons for the businesses to come strongly to Busan. But besides of that, Busan is beautiful. It's fantastic with the mountains, with the beaches, with the Hyundai beach. Isn't that the best beach in Asia? To me, when I saw it for the first time, I was stunned. So, and then the skyline is made of the state-of-art buildings. So the economic, but then also recreational possibilities with Busan are endless.
What, according to you, Ambassador, would be better for Korean companies in order to learn something from the ESG perspective?
Overall, the ESG, it's clearly said that in order to focus on these issues relating to ESG, only that way you can make your companies in the future competitive. I have seen the movement also here in Korea. I recently visited, for example, LG Chem. I was impressed how they are also bringing, I'm sure there are many other companies here who are bringing these issues on the forefront. To have everybody on board, that's, I would say, that would signify what the ESG means, not to leave anybody behind. So to try to use everybody's skills the best possible way, at the same time taking the environmental issues, because that's something we share. If we damage the nature, that harms everybody. The social issues, then again, how to get everybody active in the working field. So this means also making it easier, for example, to both genders, both men and women, to be actively part of the working life, to create systems when the families can still flourish at the same time, when the parents are still, two breadwinners who are bringing, who are keeping up the family, so that is possible. And then, of course, nowadays, the ethical values of the companies are really of the most importance. So you make a mistake as a company, a bad rumor starts about your company, you may lose your business completely. So it's not really a choice whether you look at these things or not, because if you are not, there will be a day that you easily will be losing and you cannot do anything about it. So you have to do these things in advance. Not to repair the things when damage is done is really, really hard.
Recently, the KoreaHerald came to know through its sources that the embassy of Finland in Seoul is trying to include the women participation not only as a customer in the digital development, in the innovation ecosystem, but their participation as a creator also. So why Finnish embassy in Seoul is very much interested in strengthening this area? Is there any logic behind?
There's a big logic behind of that, because what I said to earlier that in order to be competitive in the business, you have to have everybody on board. So all our policies for successful business are based on inclusiveness and equality. So in the field of technology, we have seen trends in the past that it was very much like oriented only on one gender, and women were not so easily on board. So with our projects here, we want to bring into the discussion how women can their own way make the whole project also around technology more profitable, because it helps to have two genders on board, because there are many applications also that they are not made only for one gender. So in order to be successful, you have to know the realities of the both gender, also the representatives of the genders fairly represented. So that's why we have been actively promoting the women in tech programs. Besides of having it on that level, we think it's very important to start at the early age. So we are extremely proud of the idea that came around to start classes with girls coding. So they are like small girls who maybe otherwise, without this program that we created with Hanyang University, would not have got the chance to start learning about coding. Technology is complicated, we know that, and the engineering training earlier was kind of like a gender bias. We want to break that and to show also to these girls from the very beginning that technology and IT can be fun.
That's very interesting. Coming to next question, recently Seoul hosted a P4G summit, and under the leadership of President Moon, Korea is trying best to act as a bridge between the developing and developed countries. Do you have any inputs from Finland's perspective? How Finland is seeing this kind of bridging the gap between developing and developing countries through the issues of climate change?
One important issue here I would like to stress is that, look, already our minister's title who was here last week, his official title in Finland is Minister for Development Cooperation and Foreign Trade. So stressing here also in the national scheme is the development cooperation. So that brings these two issues together. So also when we talk about the climate change and the measures leading to that, we want to provide also to the developing world the tools and the means how to do it better. And here again, innovations, companies are needed again. It's not only, some words that can fix it. As we have seen it with COVID-19, if somebody is left behind, we don't get rid of the pandemics. As long as we don't get everybody on board to get the whole world vaccinated, we don't get rid of this thing. So it's very much in our sort of like structures that the development also outside of Finland goes in hand in what we try to achieve in the foreign trade. A couple of other examples, the circular economy that I talked about earlier, the buyer issues, the waste, for example, waste for energy. There's too much waste all around the world, but we can introduce methods how to even use waste for energy.
You mean recycling?
Yes. But you have to be innovative. And there again, Finland and Korea, we together can also address some of those questions that the rest of the world has. With our expertise, with our innovative minds putting together, hopefully that could also be one of the outcomes in the future cooperation between our two countries.
Where do you want to evaluate during your tenure the South Korea-Finland relationship?
I see that there's a really dynamic time coming up for me here, just to embark on the goodwill and the willingness to work on the different issues. What I really enjoy also working here in Korea is that people are not in their thinking, they are not framing their thinking to think only on certain way. I have my favorite Finnish proverb. It says that only dead fish follow the stream, meaning that you always have to look for something new and you have to break it. But what was working before is not necessarily working in the future. So that's also, I think, what this COVID-19 has taught us. We made the wrong analysis in the beginning. Let's learn from this. Let's not be dead fish. We should, like the salmon, they swim against the stream. That's how we find the solutions.
So are you saying that reviewing the past is important and learning the new is also important, but at the same time, being dynamic is the answer to life philosophy?
Exactly. You nailed it.